Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine, giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's another episode of Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Mine, and this is Mike and Blaine, Business, Beer, and BS. I'm also known as Cashflow Mike. That is Blaine Birch, my friend, my partner, the co-founder and CEO of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
They changed stuff again. So we used to be, you could see us with the video going. Apparently that's no longer a thing. So anyway.
Okay, I thought maybe it was just me, but yeah, get it?
Nope, they're another change. So anyway, so you guys can't watch us dance around like idiots while the jingle's going. Just gonna have to watch the video itself, but that's all right.
Right. Well, I mean, that's actually part of fun. Hey, now you don't know the finished product. It might still be there.
It might be. I'll dig around, and there might be a setting. There's a setting somewhere, but I don't know. Anyway, at least we got the video this week. Last week it was all audio, so
yeah,
figuring stuff out on the fly.
Like, hey, this is the 250th birthday now. Now, doesn't Canada, like yours is around here somewhere too, right? Like your Independence Day is close to ours. Your yesterday. Thanksgiving is close to ours. Yeah, yesterday. All right. So how'd that go?
Yesterday. Well, it's good, except it was weird. It's Wednesday. I don't know. I was saying to Heather that I think it'd be great if they just said, hey, let's just do the first Friday of July, so you always have a long weekend. Because middle of the week they just give you Wednesday off. It was kind of weird. We took the day off and kind of Tuesday night went out and then back to work. It just felt strange to me. So anyway, but it was fun. It was good.
All right. So what's it like? I mean, there's probably a lot of us down here don't know what a Canadian Independence Day celebration is like. What do you guys do?
It's probably fairly similar. There's usually events around town and around the city, fireworks at 11 o'clock, and they have to do 11 because it's still light out at that point. So it's just starting to get a little dim. So they want to get it where you can actually see them. That's about it. We haven't gone to the fireworks in years because it's just such a pain to get down there and get back and everything. But it's probably, but I don't think it's quite as big a deal as July 4th for you guys. I don't know if it's quite got as, it's not like it's not a big deal. I don't know if the activities and everything are quite as big here as down there. So
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we have celebrations. Probably every town puts on a thing. Maybe, every little place has parties, lots of little just neighborhood things. This happens to be the big one, right? I mean, biggest one in my life, right? It's 250 years. I don't think anybody else will ever see that again, right? Future generations. You just won't see that one again. So it's kind of a big deal. Matter of fact, I even got this. Roebuck has a hoodie with the logo. I actually like the logo that says 250 on it, right? It's just really subtle. It's small. Did I wear it? I think I might have wore it a couple weeks ago. Maybe
I didn't pick it up on it. Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I like that logo. I like the design. Of course, I've spent a lot of time, in the military as a highway patrolman. So it's just in my heart, right? Being patriotic is in my heart. So I like to see when the country can come together and just celebrate being free, being together. So I like that.
Yeah, that was good. Well, happy early 4th to you. And and we had a late Canada Day, I guess it would be yesterday. So, but I can't believe it's July already, man. It's the year is flying by somehow. It's crazy.
Yeah. So did you see, I don't know if you saw, but we had several people comment on last week's show, or maybe it's 2 weeks ago, where I made a weird comment about a 25-year-old, and they took it way out of context, right? Whatever short people saw, took it way out of context. I wasn't criticizing somebody's age can't do it. I'm just saying my experience has been somebody that's 25 can't connect with my audience who are 40, 50, 60-year-olds that are accountants. That
Yeah.
they're not watching that type of media. They're not watching that type of social interaction. It's harder to get their attention because they're focused in on, well, other things. So I haven't had very much success, but we got crushed. So people are like going, "Oh, you guys suck. Oh, you guys are this. Oh, you guys are,
Okay.
that's ageist.
I
That's yeah." So
I,
who
d-
knows?
I did not see that, but you know what? I will flip it. And if you guys are listening right now, here you go. I will flip that around because there's the younger generation, we as Gen Xers and older, have been accused repeatedly of not being able to identify with the younger generation, and we're so different and we act. So, in other words, they do the same thing, but they never look in the mirror. I shouldn't say never, but I will say, guys, look in the mirror because there's a lot of things you don't pick up on. And I will say, like, I go to a brewery in town here. There's one that is hilarious. It's a very Gen X brewery. It's just all bunch of old, 50-year-olds floating around there. And there is so much, there's so much like a communication, nonverbal communication, verbal communication, context, and everything that goes on between this group that no one else would pick up on because it's just you kind of had to be there and live it. And it's the same with the younger group. We're not there to kind of live it. So, I think there's just a lot of oversensitivity and misinterpreting, but also I will say, uh, for every stone they cast, they're doing the same bloody thing. So,
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it. I just thought it was funny. I'm like going, even when we say things that are just kind of okay, just like normal, there's always somebody out there going to try to beat us down. So I actually
yeah,
like it. Hey, bring it on, beat it down. If that's what you got to do, just bring
it
it on.
doesn't hurt my feelings. There's nothing that anyone could put online and not have someone take a crack at them for it. There's just nothing.
Hey, so here's the thing. All right, if you're listening to this show right now, and you're like, what the hell is going on? This is the weirdest start to anything that I've ever listened to. This is Mike
Not for
Blaine,
our
Business
show.
Beer and BS. Yeah, not
So I
for our show.
apologize.
We just kind of start. Sometimes we start in the middle of a conversation. Right? It just kind of happens. So
Yep.
anyway, you got a healthy dose of BS, but we do highlight beers, and we have beer sponsors. So Blaine,
Yes.
what are you drinking today?
So today, and I love this brewery. I found it in my fridge, and I want to show this logo because it's a really kind of a nice logo. It's the province of Alberta with the snake kind of over top of it, and it's Snake Lake Brewing in oh boy, the Sylvan Lake, Alberta. It's not Snake Lake. It's actually Sylvan Lake is where it is. But what's kind of cool, it is it won silver in the World Beer Cup for this beer.
Uh,
And it's in the German Pilsner category. So this is not a small category. These guys won silver. So good on you. This is an absolutely terrific brewery. If you're ever in a Sylvan Lake, make sure you go over to Snake Lake and enjoy some of their beer. And it's called a Kennebec Pilsner. How about you? What you got going?
So neighbor Pat, one of our beer sponsors, last week when he brought over last week's beer, he brought two beers, right? So he went 2 weeks straight because he's like going, it's too much to walk, down the hill and back up the hill, every week. So he only does like every other week now.
That's not that long of a walk from what I hear.
It's like a whole house away, right? Like there's a house in between mine and his. But knowing that I've got grandkids and stuff in Seattle, and this is one that's not from Seattle. It's actually from Juneau, Alaska. It's the Alaskan Amber, and I used to drink this on when I flew Alaskan. I was a 75,000 mile flyer a year with Alaska, and I always drank this on the flights. But I always drank it in Seattle too. Now, what's cool about Seattle? You just showed the World Cup. The U.S. I don't know much about soccer, but I can kind of fill in the blanks because we're hockey fans, right? So I can kind of fill in the blanks a little bit. There's a lot of similarities between the two,
Yeah.
but with the U.S. winning yesterday, I mean that's the farthest we've ever gotten in a World Cup, and the next match is in Seattle, I think Sunday. against Bel Belgium. Yeah, Belgium.
Mm,
Yeah, in Seattle. So I mean, I'm pretty excited. So Pat, thank you for the Alaskan Amber. That's what I'm going to have today.
nice. I didn't realize that this is the farthest the US has gotten, because this is actually the farthest Team Canada has gotten. They beat, was it South Africa? Last week they play Saturday, so now they're to the round of 16. Now they do play Morocco. From what I hear, that's going to be a very difficult match for them to win. But they've already set records over and over again. They've done a quite an amazing job this time through, and so kind of cool.
Yeah, well, think about that, right? It's exciting. It's brought some folks in, maybe in Canada, maybe in the U.S. that don't watch soccer, But hey, we're learning things like a red card, yellow card. I'm learning all kinds of new stuff, over the last month. So it's been kind of exciting, and I
Yeah.
love to see all the fans. I mean, if you watch, maybe in Canada's the same way. They've got all these watch parties and things like that, and people are really getting into it. So I love that. It just follows right through with this 250 people coming together, having a good time, enjoying each other's company, and celebrating, something.
And I've got a completely different league to yell at a whole different set of refs, which I've been that last Canada game, I was just like irate. It's like I just finally watched soccer for the first time in probably 4 years since the last World Cup, and of course I suddenly know everything, and the refs are just doing the worst job of the planet is what I figured. But
There we go. We got a couple more beer sponsors. I'm gonna
mhm.
go ahead and pull in Brother Trey. Right, Brother Trey is a new subscriber. That's a cool thing. If anybody can be a beer sponsor. It's $5 an episode, but when you subscribe, that's making a commitment. Right? That's saying, hey, this is the type of show that I want to sponsor. And Brother Trey did that, and he's all about family. And this is a guy that is all in on family. If you really listen to him when he tells his stories, if you pay attention to the way he responds to his daughter, he's an example of what a dad should be. So, Brother Trey, this goes out to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Trey. Much appreciated. And I'm gonna go thank Devin, biggest LSU fan on the planet. But this week I'm going to talk a little, like, give a little bit of background. So Devin was up in Alberta, not quite down up where we are, but close. Down in Calgary, and then out to Banff, and through a little bit of the Rockies there. And so Devin did mention to me, he sent me a picture of one of these big, I don't know what it's like a bus, except the tires are probably 6 feet tall, and it goes over the Columbia ice fields. It's kind of an amazing
What?
looking thing. I'll find the picture and send it to you. And so he was up at Columbia ice fields. I haven't been there since I was a kid, so that's kind of neat. And he did say he made it to the St. James pub in Banff, which we used to go to all the time every time we were in Banff. I have been there forever. I'm so glad it's still there, because it's a local icon Irish pub. So thanks again, Devin. And it sounds like you had a terrific trip up our way. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And hopefully you didn't get too much rain, because boy, we have got nothing but rain in June. It's record setting this year, absolute record setting for rain and now mosquitoes. So yeah, it's a bit of an off summer, to be honest.
There you go. So I and then we got another one up there in Michigan, closer to that, up to you than me, closer to you than me.
Houston?
No, not Houston.
Okay.
No, not Houston. That's not closer to you. I'm talking about Karen Hairston, our Amazon bestseller. She has a book out called Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits. She owns a business consulting, business in Michigan, but she can work with you anywhere. If you want to work with an Amazon bestseller and you want her to find hidden cash in your business, then go check her out, Karen Hairston, up in Michigan, and make sure you go to Amazon and check out her book.
And now I'm going to thank our Houston, Texas sponsor, and I'm just busting your chops because you did have the state wrong one time. That's what I was asking.
Hey, you do one thing, you're labeled for life. Look at that.
I'm gonna have fun with it probably at least for a couple more weeks, because it's usually me that gets the brunt of everything here. So it's fun to have something to chuck back. But Larry Weinstein, the best CPA in Houston. If you're looking for a CPA, go check out Larry, the Cashflow Cowboy. He will get you all straight.
There you
Is
go.
that everybody? It feels like his neighbor Brager. I don't think we mentioned him. I took my list down, so now I'm
Hey,
going from
hey,
memory.
don't mention Neighbor Breaker because we're out of discount beer, right? He only
Oh,
sponsors me.
okay.
He's like
And
acting me the 99-cent beer. So don't like, oh, hey, here's stuff that's went bad 2 months ago, but we're going to give it to you as a sponsorship. And he remember he's getting a $5 sponsorship for $1.
oh, that's true. Okay. Well, anyway,
Actually,
thanks
it's
for the laugh.
$2. I better say it's $2 because he gives me 2 beers. So it's $2. If I say it's $1, then I'm going to get called out, in the neighborhood cornhole game about, oh yeah, Mike can't even do math. Give him 2 beers, he thinks it's only $1. I don't know if you got a discount on top of the 99 cents. It might have been a coupon for
You never know. Buy one get one free or something, and on your 99-cent beer.
him. Yeah. Hey, so
Boy,
if you
all
want to be
right.
made fun of as a beer sponsor, go to mikeandblaine.com. Check it out because we got merch, we got t-shirts, we got, you name it. There's like 50 different things you can get in our merch store, and you can sponsor this show for only $5 an episode.
Yes, and please like, subscribe, follow, and on to the episode. But we got this new thing. Okay, I'm going to play we have an episode jingle that Mike has been getting made every week, and it's sort of apropos for the topic today too, in a way. So let's kick this off.
Robots working overtime, still can't read between the lines. Brains and bytes may rule the day, but people still lead the way. Mike and Blaine are here to see what makes us uniquely we.
All right, there we go.
I'm getting better at that, right? I'm getting better at that. And if you didn't pick up on it, because it was quick, right? It was quick.
quick.
It's about, here are things that AI can't fake. Right?
Yes.
You just can't. And we're talking about the soft skills. They can be engineers. They can be, they can hard code things. They can write copy, those type of things. But they can't be you. They can't shake your hand. They can't, fix some type of problem. They can't feel. There's no emotion. So that's what I'm going to talk about today.
Yeah, and like we've talked about this on the show a lot of times before, that people want to do business with people, and the more complex the deal and the bigger the deal, the more important it is to develop rapport and to develop a relationship and to build that. It doesn't happen in one meeting. You build that over time, and that's just something the bots can't do. You can't sit down and have a beer with a robot. Well, you could. I don't think I would recommend it. I think it would probably be a pretty dull beer. But it is an important topic, because I think over the next few years, we're going to be sussing out, where does AI truly help and pick up a lot of the grunt work, but where is it not great, and possibly where can it also harm your business if you jump in before you're ready, and you don't, maybe not quite ready for the effects that it's going to have.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things about the topics that we choose is it just kind of hits me. What about been thinking about this week, right? Since we last did this. And to me, here's where this whole topic started was, I don't think that, AI has a ceiling yet, but
No.
it definitely raised the floor. And here's how I got there, right? Which means, bad now, right? Like, you just know bad. If I make something on my own and then I give it to AI, am I going, damn, that's better? Right? It's better. I know bad. I can see bad instantly because AI makes it better, right? That's what I liked about it. It's got better writing. It's got better research. It's got better graphics. It's got better ideas sometimes. I mean, it just makes it better. But what separates me from other people is all the human stuff, right? All the things I can do that AI can't, right? It doesn't think for me. It helps me think better, and it helps me position myself better in front of somebody else.
Well, and what I like is that the place where it saves time is the place where I should not be wasting time. And some of it is wasted time. Some of it maybe not wasted, but
Mhm.
it's, you only have so much time, and it's one or the other. And so if I can have it do some of the sort of, I call it grunt work, or just monotonous work, or or just speed up some of the tasks, that means that I can spend more time talking with people, talking with potential customers, networking, and following up and catching up with. I had a great meeting with a friend of mine who's a longtime entrepreneur this week, and those are really important times, and those are the types of times that, as an entrepreneur, it's encouraging, but you learn from it. And if you're overwhelmed doing some of the grunt work tasks, you don't have time to do some of these things that I think are so important for you and important for your business.
Well, the things that you say you're wasting time on, all of those things became cheaper or should be cheaper in the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
Writing, right? I don't really need to pay big dollars for writing anymore, or coding, even, believe it or not, some of the coding,
Yeah.
some design work, some research, or some translation type work,
Yeah.
interpretation of a contract. I mean, I can say, hey, tell me what this is saying. Where am I at risk? Yeah. But then it begged me, and that bit not begged me. It led me to ask the question: if that became cheaper, what became more expensive? Right? Something's got to
Yeah.
become more expensive on that side in order to make this economy work. And I
Yeah.
think it's judgment, and I think it's wisdom and leadership and trust.
Mhm.
Those are the things. If you have a business out there today, those are the four things that you guys say, this is what I can capitalize on. This is what makes me valuable in the marketplace or just in the world.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot of layers there that, like, AI it's good at writing, but if to me it's good at maybe fleshing things out and writing the prose. It's not necessarily good at um some of the underlying ideas and making some of the connections that would be there. There I actually saw a post yesterday that said AI is not good at design, and it pulled up these three or four websites and put them side by side, and honestly, the websites actually look kind of nice. The problem was they basically looked identical. And when
Mm.
you're looking at building a brand, you want to be able to stand out. You need to. It's the same thing as like our jingles. Like our jingle, actually, the start of the show, that's actually a person. It's pre AI, but the jingle for the show, they're fun. But I don't think I could listen to an album over and over because
Oh, definitely not.
it lacks depth. It's yeah, it works really well for a rapidly thrown together, low risk, um, somewhat vanilla website, somewhat vanilla, probably writing and music and things like that. But true art and true innovation, true story has to come from people.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's true. Again, it takes me less than 10 minutes to put that jingle together.
Yeah,
Now that I figured out how to do it.
yeah, yeah,
Right. Now I figured out how to like a copy paste, but whatever, just whatever jingle lyrics, put it in there. I wanted the style of a 90s sitcom theme combined with R&B. Right. I don't know
yeah.
why we came up with that like 5 years ago. We're like, oh, that's what our jingles should be like.
It works. It works.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm thinking now is that I even forgot where I was going with that. What'd you say?
I, I'm sorry. I just, poof, just, I said something that locked your brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is that those are pretty easy to do, but it does lack the connection. Now, what was funny is that we've created a bunch of just songs for the family, right? And Courtney built one for our relationship, right? And
Mhm.
I think I told you this a few weeks ago or whatever. I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I've cried 4 times. Right? It brings tears to my eyes. It
Yeah,
actually had some emotion into the song. Why? Because it's something she's saying, and I know it's her words because AI doesn't know this about us, right? She had to feed it the information for it to come
yeah.
back with that type of information. Here's where it missed, and here's where other songs that AI have missed is that the emotion I feel for that song is only my emotion, and it's only Courtney's emotion.
Mhm.
When I played it for her dad, he goes, "Yeah, I guess you had to be there." It's still a good song, but there was no emotional connection, and
Yeah.
that's what it lacks, right? Because it can get really personal with you because you give it the personal stuff to give back to you.
Yeah.
But beyond that, other people don't have the same impact. So that's why I have this is where I was going to go with that. My landing page for the app is just AI driven because it's just hey, you just need information, you need some screenshots, you need because that's what everybody's used to.
Mhm.
But my website is a person because there's an emotion, there's a pace, there's a rhythm, there's a message I'm trying to get across that
Mhm.
I can't get from AI. So I've got two different ones.
Yeah, the prompts, boy, I don't even know if I call them prompts anymore, some of the ones that I've got running. Like, as I was doing some updating on our website, and I built out an agent to help me with it, and it was probably about, I would say, 2 pages of a prompt that I built out, and then, like, I wrote so that it's like, "This is what you have to follow." The prompt was longer by quite a bit than the actual stuff it was writing,
Yeah.
and I still had to coach it over and over again, and I still had to kinda scold it a few times. I literally had to say, "I need you to do this. Why are you ignoring it? Write me what I need to put into the prompt so that you won't do it this way." And I had to keep evolving that. Um, but boy, it's amazing on the stuff it does well and does fast. It's absolutely unbelievable. Like, it's like, yeah, this is so it's such a big time saver with things that and it does a better job than I would do. But as long as I'm sitting there coaching it and have the philosophy behind it, because the thing you got to watch is it always sounds, and we've talked about this before, it always sounds so sure of itself with so much authority, and then I'll say, no, that's not right. Do it this way. Oh, you are absolutely right. Like, it just, like, blows smoke up your ass so bad. There's nothing quite like it for,
I,
doing that.
I had the other day say, "Oh, you're right. I made a mess of that." I'm like going, "Yeah, no shit. You made a mess of that. This I now got to start over." And part of it is when I build out like training programs or speeches and stuff like that. Now I'm like going, I'll run it through there and just see if there's something I missed because my everything I do on a stage or in front of a crowd is like almost a rehearsed play. So there's pauses and there's a connection and there's
Yeah,
setups like going I'm setting you up here so the next time I talk to you there's a reveal, right? There's a reveal
yeah.
on why that was important to begin with, right? So there's a lot of that AI has helped me identify some more places or better places I can do that. But I think you've seen me wear it on the show, a T-shirt I have that says AI does not equal me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Because what I realize is that even though it has a lot of the skills to do, these type of things, it doesn't have my heart, it doesn't have my timing, it can't read a room, it can't build rapport, right?
mhm, yeah.
Now, in the future, can a hologram do that? Maybe I don't know, right? I don't know because I saw Teddy Roosevelt on that they just opened up the Teddy Roosevelt museum or not museum presidential library in North Dakota
Mhm,
today or
yeah.
yesterday, maybe it's yesterday, and they have a hologram of Teddy Roosevelt that you can go talk to, and he'll just respond to whatever you say. Now there's a delay, and it's kind of weird, and but
Yeah.
in the future, is that going to be it where I can talk to a hologram and it seem and feel just like me today?
I think there's always gonna be this massive gap. Like, in some contexts, you won't be able to tell the difference. Someone you're doing a support site, a lot of it now is AI. It's getting better and better, but there's areas where I think it's just never going to reach the people power. And like you were talking about early on, like about the topic, about what we would cover in the episode, talking about things like emotional intelligence and things like that. And, like, I'll tell you, you can tell, people can tell at a glance, at someone they have never met before, that'll say a word, and just by the subtlest bits of expression or the way they say that, you can pick up whether they're being sincere or not. Like there, so that I don't think AI can try and read emotions, but it's like, yeah, it can tell if you're smiling or frowning, but can it pick up these just tiniest little bit of subtleties, and then understand, even if it could, how should it actually respond, because there's likely a whole lot of layers behind it, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna push that in that a second and ask you to defend a statement you've made in the past, because we've talked about, all right, we've talked about, hey, about the gut, about the limbic brain
Trusting
versus
your gut.
the neocortex, right, of the brain,
Yeah.
which is the gut, which where you can't really describe the feeling. And you have said that is nothing more than pattern recognition. If that's
Yes.
true, then AI should be able to do it.
No, I think what I'm saying is that there's patterns that AI is not going to be able to pick up. There's a lot that it can. I think there's a lot of patterns
Yeah, but it can't be a
that
facial thing, because I could wear those meta glasses, and if AI is dialed into that, you could make your micro expressions or whatever they call them, and I could pick up on it because it's pattern recognition.
I isolated it to, let's say, a facial expression, but it never is quite like that. There's a lot of
There's an energy.
seemingly unrelated things that are context and everything. Like, here's a great example. If, like, Canadians are known for being polite, right?
I don't
And well, probably me excluded, but they tend to be known for that, right? And there are times where someone will say thank you, and you can just overhear it. I don't even have to see them, right? You can be in a store, you can be at the coffee shop, and someone will say thank you. And there are times that you can instantly go, oh, wonder what happened. They're being a bit of an asshole. They said thank you, but you can tell it's passive aggressive, and it's the tiniest bit clipped, and the some subtle something's gone on where people can pick it up right away and go, oh, they're pissed about something. But a bot can't, because there's all these little factors that all come together that people don't even, it's pattern recognition, but it's a bunch of unrelated things that come together, right?
I think it could. Maybe not today, but I think it could, because even in my app, I have live transcription, which means that
Yeah.
I don't save the recording of somebody's voice, but it transcribes it in real time as somebody's talking. Well, there are other places that save the voice, other apps, things like that. So if you can save the voice, and now I feed it with 250,000 different ways to say thank you, all of a sudden you couple that with micro expressions, tonality, and it may be able to pick up on it. I'm saying don't
Okay.
discount the fact that it's a pattern recognition, so AI can do it.
Potentially, yeah, but I think the thing that matters the most is not recognizing it, because people recognize it completely unconsciously. Like, they just do. You just know, right? It's the response. It's the understanding the context, and why they might be a little bit pissed off, or maybe it's like what they're saying is, hmm, they're kind of, there's a little bit of a smile there, and they're actually happy about something that maybe they shouldn't be happy, they normally wouldn't be happy about. And it's like, yeah, that guy just fell in a puddle. It's like, that asshole deserved it. And but there's all this context and things around it that I think that's where, even if a bot picks it up, it's almost going to have to ask the person, hey, why is that guy mad? Because I don't think it's going to know all of the other layers and all of the connections on why a person might be reacting that way, even if it can pick up that they're reacting that way.
All right, so I think you just kind of exposed what I think makes the human different, right? So let's go back in your life and think, who was my best boss? The one I thought was the best boss, or even right now, who do you think are great leaders? And this is where I think, and it hasn't changed, pre AI to after AI. I think the best leaders don't have the best answers. They have better questions, right? And that's something
Mhm.
that AI hasn't figured out yet is what question do I ask? You have to be prompted to give an answer, right?
Yeah.
But you said, tell me how to do this. What do I have to tell you? You even
Yeah.
had to say, what did I have to tell you so you don't make this mistake again?
So you don't make this mistake again. Yeah. Um, it's true, but it's interesting that when you bring that up, I think there's also this interesting flip side of because the bots they're emotionless, right? Like they don't have emotion. They might be able to analyze things and fake it, but they really don't. Like I don't think we're going to have a robot feeling the stress that a business owner or an entrepreneur will. Um, because I've noticed that especially this summer, just meeting with friends that are entrepreneurs, and outwardly to everyone else, they're smiling, good, 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 and then we sit down like, dude, like, and they could say dude, and oh yeah, it's a bit of a battle. And so then when you're let's say you're coaching people, you're dealing with staff, are you dealing them with the same way? Because I know I'm not. When I'm under a lot of pressure or stress, I tend to be a little bit more of a driver and a little bit more micromanagey than I normally would be. Um, but a bot wouldn't feel the stress, So there's maybe the good side, but maybe there's the bad side where should you lean on a bot every once in a while to kind of go, hey, keep an eye on me, and make sure that I'm pick up on my emotions and make sure that I'm sticking in my lane. I have no idea if that makes sense. I'm just
No, no.
totally bullshit.
Let me pile on that a little bit and say this is why I think chat bots or customer service type bots will, are not ready, right? And I think if you're trying to put them in your business, you should pull back the brakes just a little bit because to me, nobody has ever asked for a manager or a representative because the chatbot was too friendly. Like,
Yeah.
or something like that. There's always something that pisses people off. They don't know how to deal with the irate customer. They don't know how to deal with an emotional, sensitive conversation, maybe in an employee situation, right? So
Mhm.
uh, there is something that it misses.
Oh,
And
for
so,
sure.
yeah, definitely, right? And I think it's customer service, and I see company after company doing that. Matter of fact, I'm pulling some AI out of my app because it goes beyond the scope.
Mhm.
I go, no, we didn't ask you for all of that. Matter of fact, that's not even part of the question. It's you've extrapolated and went way beyond, and now you've confused people with noise. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what's happened in my world.
Yeah. And I think this is again, when we're talking about people can tell exactly that. Are you are you rambling on, and is your story going on too long? Are you not sharing enough and you're coming across as a little bit blocked? Are you seemingly looking like you're paying attention to a person or not paying attention? Like there's a million of these little subtle things that the bots can't figure out. And the I think with the support stuff that I've had to use online over the last probably year, the most used phrase I have used with a support chat bot is give me a human. I have used that
Yeah.
phrase probably 30 times
Yeah.
because they have a little window like this, and it's like, no, you're not solving my problem. I wouldn't be on here if it was an obvious problem, right? Like you're no, you're angling there, Mike.
That was really weird. I don't know. I think I moved my arm like this, and then moved the keyboard, and then moved the wire, and then moved the
Yeah,
it
the
moved the
camera.
camera.
For
Yeah.
those of you that are listening, the camera suddenly went crooked. It looked like Mike was going to roll down the side of the. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah, but one of the earliest, uh, I think, processes I can remember that was being automated, which is kind of like AI, is that like, do you remember Expensify? and the
Yes.
CEO's name was David. I can't remember David's last name, but I remember meeting him when they were first starting to launch Expensify.
Mhm.
And he had this thing where you carry around this huge unicorn at all the conferences, right? It's like a prize you win for throwing a ball or something like that. And it was big. It was a huge unicorn, and it was a great way to get people to come up and say, "Hey, what's the deal with the unicorn?" They could tell them about their business. I'm like, "Damn, that was really smart."
Yeah.
But he had this thing early on where you could take a picture of a receipt and put it in there and it would read.
Mhm.
That's kind of AI, one of the earlier uses of using AI to at least read a receipt. And he used the phrase, our receipt reading process is human augmented, which means the computer took the first stab at it. And when the computer couldn't figure out what it was, a person would figure it out what it was, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, oh, dang, that was really kind of smart. Human augmented means that we've got a secondary layer to prevent mistakes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was a human, but it was a person, right? So I'm like, okay, I can see that. Duolingo has to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right, with translations, because if you look at all the world's languages, there's subtlety in the way we say things, right? I mean, there's
Mhm.
even accents that you have to deal with. I could say the same word as you, and a computer might misinterpret it,
Yeah.
right?
Like like washing machine.
Yeah, like washing machine,
You need a washer.
like roof, roof. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're saying the same word, and because you and I are human, I'm like, I know, I get it. I don't have to think about it. I get what you're saying because
Mhm.
we speak similar languages or the same language with a different accent. That has to be infinitely harder for a computer, for an
Mhm.
AI model to go, he has a Southern dialect. He has a Canadian, accent. He's got an Asian or a Hispanic or whatever it is. They have to be able to discern the exact same word said infinite number of ways.
Yeah. And okay, I'm going to go a little bit off topic here, but I do find it kind of interesting that we keep talking about how much smarter AI is getting and getting and getting and getting and getting. And the flip side of it is, because immediately I thought, okay, how does it going to learn the different accents and the different slang and the different? It's going to have to listen to Canadians and Americans and all of that, right?
Hmm.
How come, or how did these AI companies basically get access to all of this content that if you and I tried to use the same content today, it would be copyright infringement.
Mm.
And yet they use it to train bots, and they use it to inform them, and they use it literally. It's like taking the encyclopedia and ingesting the entire thing, and it's like a free for all. But we could not do the same thing. We can't even seem to download a book, right? Like, a library book maybe, but it actually ingests it and uses all of it.
Well, I don't know if it's all of it. I think there's some things that are labeled as copyright that I think it has to, you know, it can summarize, it can read it and summarize it just like a person does. But I don't think it can give you verbatim the exact same language that's in a copyright.
Yeah, I'm curious because I think it hasn't been held to the same standard that a first year university student would be held to for plagiarism. I don't think it's been held to any sort of
Yeah,
standard. I'm very curious what
I
the
haven't
what
seen
the
where it's
guidelines are.
plagiarized. I haven't seen where it's plagiarized. It will at least cite it within the context and then put it in quotes. If it uses a quote, it will actually do that, in what you read. I don't think it plagiarizes. I think you would plagiarize if you took that and put it in there and said it was your own.
So would that mean then if it's being trained by only the things that are free, where like to me, if you're going to, you're a master's student or a PhD student at a university, the papers you read, you pretty much have to pay for. The books you read, you have to pay for. You it's not available. right?
I don't think it
So
can go beyond the AI can't go beyond a paywall.
but that's the question that I'm asking is, it has a lot of information, but if it's actually not getting the textbook, like the level of information that, let's say, a PhD student is getting, is it really like leading the pack? Is it leading the way? I'm sort of posting this because, like, there's, of course, there's AI that's used in research and things like that, but that's not what we have access to. What we have access to are the bots that are trained by all the free stuff on the web. Garbage in, garbage out, good stuff in, good stuff out. But is there a level of, it's never getting past the blogs and Reddit?
No, it reads books. It can get there's the libraries, public libraries and stuff like that have libraries of books that you can just go read online. You don't have to pay for Amazon or these type of things to go read a book. People like me might upload my book to train it. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean it's copying my book and giving a copy of my book to somebody else. It uses it to summarize, and it would say something like this in an answer. It would say, Mike Mylan in his book, The 7 Minute Conversation, says blah, and it would put it in quotes. I think that's the same thing a human does.
Mhm. I'm curious. I suspect strongly that they're coloring outside the lines a little bit.
Well, I'm sure there's bleed right now. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. But do you think your book right now, Chaotic Cash Flow, it's plagiarizing it somewhere on the internet?
That's a good question. It's something I'll never know, and that's I think one of the problems is, can you really ever know?
Yeah, ask it.
Um,
Ask Chelsea right now. Is my book used anywhere? Uh, Ask it if it's ever plagiarized my book.
oh,
It
has it
doesn't lie,
ever? Some
right?
tells me it hasn't never read it, but anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, but it doesn't lie, right? The AI doesn't lie to you. Like, oh yeah, we plagiarize it every fifth day of the month.
I'm just, first of all, I'm going to see if the book is
Available.
let's see. Okay, so it says, while I cannot read a copyrighted book cover to cover or pull up a full PDF of its text on demand, I am highly familiar with its core concepts, frameworks, and practical advice. Okay, so how
Yeah, how do you
would
do that?
you? Yeah, that's why I'm kind of wondering, how would you be that familiar
Oh, you
with
know what it
the?
does? It probably reads the public descriptions of your book,
Could be, yeah, yeah.
right? Because if you put it on Amazon, you got to put a description, and you put like your table of contents and things like that.
Okay, so it says it does that because um, it says it's been trained on a massive data set of information from the internet. This includes detailed summaries, reviews, analyses written by business experts and readers, interviews, podcasts, and articles featuring the author, me, where he breaks down the exact methodologies and chapters of the book, core philosophies of dry run, which directly mirror the step by step strategies laid out in the book. Okay, here's where I call bullshit. Because my book wasn't that popular to have extensive reviews, analysis, and summaries. Like, there's not that much information out there, and it seems to know a hell of a lot
All right,
about
well
it. But
here
anyway,
I would ask you a question about your book because my chat doesn't know anything about your book or shouldn't, right? I've never asked my chat about your book. Give me a question that's in your book that you think nobody should know, and I
oh
will ask.
boy, um, that well, I can't even think of offhand what would be a good question. First of all, ask it if it's familiar with my book. I'm curious if it'll come up with the same sort of thing.
The
I'm in
book.
Gemini, by the way. I'm not sure what you're
I'm just
testing
using
in.
chat. I'm just using chat. So
I'm going to ask about your book actually too.
Blaine Birch called chaotic. It's called chaotic.
Chronic cash flow, actually.
Dang it.
Chaotic sounds actually better. She used that title.
Well, you changed the name. The one I got here says pandemic cash flow. All right. So I said, are you familiar with the book by Blaine Birch called Chronic Cash Flow? And we'll see what happens. And I got it on the high thinking one right now. Yes, at least at a high level. The book is Chronic Cash Flow by Blaine Birch. The full subtitle appears with this. They got a source from Dry Run. They got a source from Barnes and Noble. It says cash flow kills nearly 30% of businesses, why it happens and how to prevent it. Barnes and Noble describes it as a practicable book that blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, just summaries. Yeah.
My read, it lives in the same world as your work, but with a slightly different center of gravity. Blaine's angle, cash flow is chronic, preventable, and needs forecasting discipline, collaboration, and better planning tools. Your cash flow, Mike angle, Blaine Birch is always wrong no matter what he says. And look, Blaine's not even listening.
Okay. This is why I got distracted there, because I just asked it if it can read library books. And the answer is no.
Oh, there you go.
It says I cannot log into a public library system, both technical barriers and legal and copyright limits.
Okay.
So again, my question is, because it always sounds so authoritative and assured of itself, is it only getting information from summaries and blogs and Reddit and all of these things? Is it actually getting into depth on these things?
Okay. Well, but wait a second. People can upload their books into the model. I mean, I did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I've uploaded all 3 of my books into there for the basic purpose that I want to be able to use it for, what's it called? AEO, GEO,
SEO, yeah.
SEO. But
the O's, the EOs.
Secondly, when I ask it a question, I want it to use that as a reference.
Yeah. No, for you, I totally understand that. What I'm saying is that as people are asking questions, like let's say I ask a question on, I can't even think of like more than how do I replace a bike tire, like something that's actually complex and it likely needs more layers of detailed information. Is it going to give back really authoritative answers based on a very, very slim data set? That's what I'm kind of curious about, right?
That makes sense. Yeah. So,
because it seems like to me it's one side or the other. It's either going to be very slim data set, garbage in, garbage out, and some good stuff, or it's kind of maybe crossing the line a little bit on what it's using for information. And there's probably somewhere in the middle. I understand that. But for as authoritative as it is, then you wonder, is it actually blocked from some of the smartest and best and most recent resources? And it's basing everything on summaries.
yeah. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, it's all summaries. It's what it can grab. But I don't think it violates copyright because we don't. If I cite something, if I'm using it as a source, then I think it's doing a good job citing it, right? Those little tags that are on your answer. So I don't think it's copyright violation.
And if it isn't, then I just think it may be a very okay. So here now, I just ask it, how do you get the caramel inside a caramel bar? Because that was, I don't know. Did you guys have that down here?
Caramel
How you get the caramel inside a caramel bar? That was a long
no,
like the
Carmelo.
Well, okay, this was an advertising campaign that probably every Canadian's familiar with, because it was always these commercials. How do you get the caramel inside a caramel bar? So I just asked it how you do that, because then I'm curious, does it actually know the answer to this long mystery that no one's apparently never had the answer to? it actually explains the entire way that the caramel gets inside a caramel bar. So, oh, okay. So here it is. Fun fact: the caramel bar is uniquely Canadian. So, okay, you guys don't know about the caramel bar.
Like, yeah, we have no idea what that is, but humans do. See, AI would know that. Mike shouldn't know that. He's American.
No, that's true. They pump out 700,000 of these bars every single day. Wow. Okay, Canadians eat way too many caramel bars apparently.
Now I want one, so bring one with you.
Yeah, I may have to bring one down, probably melt on the way. But anyway, it's okay. I know we kind of got off topic here there a little bit. I think what it because the reason I kind of went there is because we were talking about some of the areas around emotional intelligence, people dealing with people, building relationships, all of these things that are so important for business. But what I started to fall into a little bit was how much are businesses trusting the information that's on there when we really don't know what data set is using, because some data sets could be very fleshed out. They could have a lot of depth, access to a lot of information that's really accurate and on point. And then there could be other areas where it's giving very authoritative answers on kind of generalized summaries potentially.
Hey, that's the same thing that's happened even pre-AI, right? Whoever has the best SEO,
Mhm.
we took their answer because
Yeah.
it was the number one or it was on the first page.
Yeah.
Now what's happening is people are doing what it's AEO and GEO,
And
right?
GEO, yeah.
Whoever has the best they're going to end up in the AI answer.
Yes. And it's there seems to be a lot of mystery and I shouldn't say mystery. Like there's of course they're not sharing everything because they don't want people to try and hack it. What I will say that's kind of interesting is I've been doing some research on it, and it sounds to be very much quality over quantity. And yet there are a lot of services out there that will use AI that will pump out articles every single day. And then when I did some research, basically it says if you're not getting traffic to those articles, you will get penalized for it.
Hmm.
And so it's like there's a business model over here, and that sounds logical. And they're saying sign up $50 a month, and this will write every article every single day, and you're going to get all this traffic. And then when you ask AI about it, how do you actually optimize for SEO, AEO, GEO? And how come? And what do you do this? And I've like asked a bunch of questions and read articles, and you go, that's actually the opposite in a lot of cases of what you should be doing compared to maybe some of the conventional wisdom. So there's, I think it'd be easy to fall into some of the traps if you don't dig and ask the right questions and really understand the context.
Dude, when you just explained that, I went right to the Princess Bride with the chess game or the game of well, if you drink this, oh, but you would want me to drink that. So I won't drink that. But then he convinces himself to do it the other way, and he ends up drinking the poison anyway.
Well, and yeah, well, and the reason I actually went and I did a bunch of research on this to improve our SEO, GEO, AEO, all that kind of stuff, is because I actually had a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. He had hired this business, and they were just pumping out content, and I think it was all AI drivel. And I looked and went, everybody's doing that. There is no way Google wants that. And there's no way that these bots are going to continue to get sort of trained on the same slop that's getting like the volume of information out there is so high, it can't be valuable. And then I looked it up and it's true. It's not valuable. It's quality over quantity is really what you have to do.
Yeah, I've been, I've clicked on so many articles that are just garbage. Like, going, what is this? Why this isn't
Yeah.
even about the topic?
Yeah.
How did I get here? But here's what I know. I mean, and we're coming up on an hour. AI doesn't care, right? Humans do. That's the difference to me. If you want
Yeah.
to care, if you want the emotion, you want the connection, if you want them to be there right with you in that thing that you described as inherently between humans, something that's unsaid, unspoken, but felt. You need a person to do that job.
There are some interesting black and white things here that I think are going to fade. And one of them, okay, so let's do a little bit of a July 1st is free agency day. That's when free agency opens up for the NHL. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of signings, a lot of trades all on July 1st. And so I popped in later in the day and I popped into a news site to see, like, oh, I wonder what happened today and if there was some movement and all that. And I clicked on a couple articles and like one of them, the title, they did a word in there that was completely wrong. I think it was probably written by a person rushed because, you know, and then I read the article and at the bottom of the article, it said not AI written or written by a human and they have this on the bottom of their articles because it's this idea that, people don't want to read something written by AI. And I looked at it and I read, I don't think it'd be bragging. Like what you wrote was obviously barely stream of consciousness because you wanted to be the first one to post it and you didn't care about the quality. And I'm like, that is such a half-ass article that did not tell me anything. And it was just because you wanted to be the first one out. And I'm like, how about you give me a little AI? Because I
Yeah,
bet you would have been better than that slop you gave, right?
that's right. You should have blamed AI.
Yeah, yeah, we would have been better off saying this crap was AI written. But then my first question would be, what kind of crappy AI are you using to do something that bad, right? So there's no freebies and there's no black and white one size fits all. It's to me it's quality over quantity, and quality is if you're not using AI, you're just at best you're just taking way too damn long to do something, but you should be getting input and getting and bouncing things off and having access to all this information,
Yeah.
even though I may argue at times that the information might be limited to maybe not the best sources.
Hey, been a while since we went long, right? We've been right at, that 50-minute mark, 50, 55 minutes. Been a while since we went long. So this is a good one, right? It was great banter. It was back and forth. There was a lot of information. We could probably go longer. But if you want to hear more, what you have to do is like, subscribe, go to YouTube, watch the video and say, hey, Mike, you should talk more about this. Blaine, you should talk more about that. Do that. That's how you can get more.
Email us at beer@mikeandblaine.com, and we'd love to hear from you. And you can tell us what you want us to debate next time.
There you go. Hey,
All right.
man, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.